Hello, everybody. It is IVEE-TV, or whatever you want to call me, Ivera, whatever. Today, I just saw this video about Wuthering Waves hate meta. I have heard a bit about it, essentially. Apparently, the Genshin Impact or Hoyoverse community. Apparently, they are the ones hating. Essentially, I'm not too sure, but we will find out. He might explain it. If not, I'll look up myself. So, yeah, let's continue.
Information about Wuthering Waves aren't just a part of a conversation, they dominate it. From Reddit threads to Twitter posts, YouTube videos to Twitch streams, and the loudest voices are often the most inflammatory ones. And
Yeah,
it's
the
not
loudest.
because their points are valid, it's because rage sells. And for most people, when you rage, you hate. And hate is a strong feeling. So strong that TikTok made an entire
Ask Asmongold. Ask Asmongold, bro. Just ask him. He'll know.
channel profiting from said hate.
I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
Now here's the truth. Outrage is algorithmic gold. Platforms like YouTube and Twitter thrive on engagement.
Twitter,
Nothing gets people
definitely.
typing faster than a hot take, even if it's built on flimsy arguments or outright lies. When
Man.
someone drops a bold claim,
I'm still trying to get Carlotta on fucking Wuthering Waves. That bitch is hard to get, man. I've got Camellia easier than I got her.
something like, let's say, Wuthering Waves doesn't deserve its awards, or Genshin Impact devs is actually so generous, or Zenless Zone Zero is not a Gunner game. It doesn't matter if you think it's right or blatantly.
Every single gacha game is new enough for Guna game. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Let's be honest. Wuthering Waves has Camellia, even Carlotta, I think a bit, but Camellia is definitely in that Guna category because she flirts with Rover, essentially the player. Zenless Zone Zero has the mouse or rat girl. I forgot what her name is, but she's been everywhere. Bernice is one of them, I suppose. Genshin Impact has that granny person. I forgot what her name is, but they call her Grandma. Honkai Star Rail, I'm not too sure. I haven't played that in a while.
Wrong. What matters is that people react to it. That's the point. And I think people are starting to catch on. Creators big and small are learning that rage baiting and hating on Wuthering Waves is the meta. And that's the problem. Because when outrage becomes a currency, misinformation becomes a tool. That's a bar, and I need you to let that sink in. You need to understand that this pattern isn't limited to small creators. It scales up. And when you look at someone like Vars2, the cracks in this trend becomes even more obvious. The thing about Vars2 is that he has a slow, soft-spoken voice. With his smooth delivery and confident tone, he projects expertise, making his critiques sound credible even if they're wildly inaccurate. For example,
the support category is effectively non-existent.
I'm about to have a heart attack. This bro just said the support category doesn't exist in Wuwa. Huh? What is wrong?
Yeah, okay. On Wuthering Waves, you've got the shorekeeper, you've got the little midget girl that has flowers or some bullshit. Then you've got the woman you can start with that does ice damage, and she can revive one of the characters that die. I know what shorekeeper because, well, I want shorekeeper as a support.
With you. It's right here.
Statements so wildly inaccurate that it's hard to believe that he even played the game properly.
And yeah, it tells you.
Has already made a breakdown video on his channel, so
It
if you
tells you
want
if
to
they
see
have support.
Saint Tontus lose his balls to the speed granny, go ahead and watch it. But I'd like to talk about something he kind of didn't elaborate with. What's particularly striking to me is how this Vars2 video feels less like a Wuthering Waves critique and more like an advertisement for Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Let me show you what I mean.
The issue is that compared to other gachas where you have characters characters working in concert with one another to achieve a collective goal greater than the sum of their individual parts, the impression I get from
As not
Wuwa is
teams
that it's just
synergy.
mostly individual units being put together, purely for the sake of it being convenient to do so, not necessarily having actual synergistic playstyles. Oh, he's just another generic attacker. Oh, she's another generic healer. It's not a, oh, he's a first glacial support, she's a first arrow driver, what have you.
Now from that alone, you might be tilted. I understand because Saint Tontas is too, but have you ever asked, who is this content really for? Who is he targeting? It's certainly not Wuthering Waves players. They would immediately notice the inconsistencies. Instead, it seems to be tailored for an audience that is predisposed to dislike the game.
Hoyoverse characters. Or characters. Hoyoverse players. People that play Genshin Impact, people that play Zenless Zone Zero. It's more targeted, in my opinion, to people that play Genshin Impact. Because Withering Waves and Genshin Impact are similar in some aspects. The only difference, I think, would be the combat. Now, I'm probably wrong. Genshin Impact, I have played a bit of it, but the Genshin Impact combat isn't necessarily the one I enjoy, more or less Withering Waves. And I will admit, Genshin Impact has more stories, but that's because it's been there longer. Wuthering Waves is still kind of brand new. So they are still catching up with the story aspects and the characters. So Wuthering Waves is kind of limited.
Hoyoverse fans or general gacha players already primed to view Wuthering Waves through a negative lens. When you realize this, then you might think that Varzo's approach to this issue is genius. His misinformation is tailored to Hoyoverse fans. The comparisons he draws, Genshin is better at this, HSR does this right, Wuthering Waves fails, are crafted to appeal to an audience that is already inclined to believe him. Yes, Varsu, you're so right. Genshin and HSR is better than Wuthering Waves, or should I say gathering wives. Suck my nuts, Hoyosho. The danger here isn't just Varz spreads misinformation, it's that his tone makes it stick. Viewers might walk away believing his takes without even cross-referencing or trying the games themselves. And when someone with a large platform perpetuates these narratives, it sets a precedent. You can say anything about Wuthering Waves no matter how detached from reality and still be rewarded with views and engagement. These creators aren't critiquing Wuthering Waves to improve the game. They're critiquing because it works. Hate farming isn't about the truth, it's about the clicks. And the scariest part, the more of these narratives spread, the harder it becomes for genuine feedback to be heard. It's not just bad criticism, it's calculated content designed to farm outrage and appeal to the meta of Wuthering Waves hate. This strategy isn't limited to big names, it's becoming the playbook for success. The worst outcome would be people that watch the video echoes the same things as they do. And it's gonna be a ripple effect one to the other. But here's where things get really messy. When even a larger voice, people who should know better, start amplifying this trend, and that's where Fobmaster come in.
Jinshi and fucking Changli kind of play the same fucking way.
No, that's not true.
What the?
That is not true. No. I've played Shangli and Jinshi. I don't have them, so I haven't, like, obviously mained them or anything. No, that's not true. I have actually played the characters, because when you do their companion missions, you play them as well. Or for Jinshi, you end up playing them in a story quest against one of the bosses. So, no, they don't play the same. They're different. So obviously, that is to some degree misinformation. Especially if they said he has a big platform.
The fuck?
Fobmaster right now is legit a villain for the community of Wuthering Waves. Consider him the Shigaraki Tomura that destroys everything he touches. In this case, he is touching the Wuthering Waves community. The things he has said might have damaged Wuthering Waves more than all of the other gacha content creators combined.
Well, Saint Tontas, just like you excused Kuro Games for 1.3 or 1.4 being dog shit for prepping for 2.0.
1.3 and 1.4 being dog shit? He said that 1.3 is dog shit? Bro, what?
Actually, Genshin Impact is prepping for 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6 for 6.0. They're prepping Snezhnaya, right?
Wrong. They have been preparing since Mondstadt to do Snezhnaya. That's right. They have been preparing since Mondstadt, Fob.
You can
And
tell.
actually, HSR.
You can tell that he's just simply trying to like fill the either the ego or he's obviously focusing on Genshin Impact fans, Hoyoverse fans, fucking Thunder Zone probably. I don't know all of them, but you can tell he's basically focusing more towards them people because there's already hate towards it, as you can tell by the fucking the messages here as well. But they aren't taking into account as well that Wuthering Waves is new, so it's not going to be as far ahead as the other games like Genshin Impact.
The reason why Rappa's patch was so dogshit and boring is because they're preparing for fucking 3.0.
Banana?
And actually, ZZZ, they actually need the next couple patches as well to prepare for the next one.
You can't say anything about ZZZ because it's been good for ZZZ. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy, Fob? Like, think about it. Ain't that a little bit crazy?
So, if
Fairness
you
is
use
pretty
your
cool.
argument, technically every gacha game can have dog shit patches because, oh, they're just preparing for their next version.
Now, that is a lot to unpack. And luckily, again, Mr. St. Taunta's made a video reacting to it and addressing about all the misinformation and blatant bullshit. But again, there's something he doesn't really talk about, and it's when he said this.
I think this guy's got like gacha victim syndrome. I'm a diagnosed a new disease. It's called gacha victim syndrome. They feel like their gacha game is looked down upon and not respected enough, so they feel like they need to overglaze to make up for it. I'm telling you, Saint Tontas, plenty of people love Wuthering Waves. Stop reading Twitter. All right, on Twitter, people hate everything. Okay, like stop playing the.
He's not wrong. Twitter is a very toxic place, and Twitter will be a complete toxic place, you know. So that's where all the drama is.
Victim here and pretending like Crow Games is a small indie company, fucking poor man, like a gacha company that makes no money, and like, you know, they're barely making it through. Because guess what? If that was the case, Girls Frontline should have EOS'd a long time ago.
Now, I know a lot of you might be thinking, oh well, Fob Master is a troll and he rage baits. He's stupid and he's short. But I think in all seriousness, Fob Masters knows what he's doing. Now, by framing Wuthering Waves players and creators as overly sensitive or melodramatic, calling them having the gacha victim syndrome, he invalidates genuine frustration with the misinformation and blatant hate being spread. His words, like Twitter and Reddit hates everything and Kuro is a multi-million-dollar company, shift focus away from their reoccurring problem, bad faith criticism thriving unchecked. But again, let's ask the real question. Who is he speaking to? It's certainly not the Wuthering Waves community. This rhetoric is laser targeted at an audience that already hates the game. People who aren't looking for a nuanced discussion, but for a confirmation of their biases. I'd like to believe that Fob Master isn't clueless. He is calculated, and he knows exactly what kind of audience this framing appeals to, and he is leaning into it. And when I'm talking about this, I'm sure you have a lot of other content creators in mind, and that just serves my point even more. The issue here isn't that Fob Master dislikes Wuthering Waves, it's how they frame the conversation.
Wait, I want to read that. Hold on. No, I want to read that. Bring it back. Not sure if a lot of people get to see Coletta in action on the IGN YouTube channel, but there's pretty decent length preview of Coletta, and we'll see some boss fight views if you want to avoid that. Coletta looks insane with a bit of the gun. Parries seem easy to clean.
How they frame the conversation. Instead of addressing bad faith arguments or misinformation, they dismiss, deflect, and effectively fanning the flames of negativity while pretending to remain neutral. It's not just about their opinions, it's about how their words empower the meta of hate farming. Whether intentional or not, their content amplifies an environment where negativity is rewarded, misinformation spreads unchecked, and valid frustrations are silenced under the guise of "you're just playing the victim." Wuthering Waves community. Now you might be saying, now Glaive, you might be reaching. Like Fob Master is trying to reach the top shelf, you are reaching. I get it. Now I've given you the proof that supports my opinion. Why do these things happen in your opinion? Again, let me open your mind though, because this is not just a Wuthering Waves problem. It's a growing issue across the entire gacha game community. Hate farming and misinformation have become a currency in the content creation space. Whether it's for views, engagement, or clout, creators are realizing that negativity spreads faster than constructive critique. We've seen this cycle before in other communities.
Well, that's
Let's
true,
say
yeah.
Genshin Impact, Honkai Star, even Tower of Fantasy. Whether a game stumbles or even
Asmongold mentioned basically something related to Tower of the Fantasy and Genshin Impact. So as essentially what he said, he basically was talking about how like every single gacha game will fall off at some point. As I believe Tower of Fantasy, I might be wrong, he did mention something along them lines, where it was Tower of Fantasy, and then when Genshin Impact was released, Tower of Fantasy it fell, and Genshin Impact took the crown, and then now that Genshin Impact has so many characters, so many because it progressed so far. Now people that are new, that are trying to get into the game, I'm gonna want to get into it because they feel like they can't catch up to how everybody else has catched up. I might be wrong. I will link Asmongold's video about it. He does talk really good about it if I can find it. But now that Wuthering Waves has come out and it's brand new, and new players can't easily get into Wuthering Waves because of the characters. There isn't so many characters on Wuthering Waves. You can't easily get the characters you want. And then it gives new players a chance to progress through the game. But when a new gacha game is going to come out, let's say Wuthering Waves has progressed so far, it might do the same where it'll flop like Tower of Fantasy, right? It's going to happen with every single gacha game. That's just the inevitable fate that is going to happen, basically.
If it doesn't, there's an audience waiting to see it fall. But here's the catch. This pattern doesn't just harm the games, it harms the communities. It creates division, discourages new players. That's a really important thing. And silences
it discourages new players to get in that. Like, for example, Genshin Impact, if you're a new player, you see the amount of characters, the amount of content, the amount of how far it's progressed. It discourages you from continuing on because you might not get the character you want. You'll have to wait a certain amount of time for your character that you want to actually get into the pool. And then you got people that have played the game for ages. They've spent so much money. They spent so much progress, so many hours. And when they see Wuthering Waves comes out, they're going to be kind of pressed about it because they are basically, if that ends up progressing as far as it is and it actually draws in newer players, they can't flex the characters they've got or whatnot. That, I believe, is something Asmongold has said. I will link his video, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, right? You can comment, say I'm wrong about it, whatever. But that is what I'm trying to remember. So, but I might be wrong.
Creators who genuinely want to share meaningful feedback. At its worst, this trend sets a dangerous precedent. Why improve when outrage pays better? Why make constructive criticism when rage baiting does better? Food for thought. But now, it's time we recognize hate farming for what it is. Not genuine critique, but a manipulative tactic designed to exploit anger and negativity for personal gain. At the end of the day, this isn't just about defending Wuthering Waves, it's about preserving a space for genuine discourse and critique in gaming communities. Particularly gacha right now. Right? Hate farming and
So, essentially, what he's going to say is the misinformation, the hate farming, all this stuff is going to discourage players from playing Wuthering Waves, and the developers, how they're receiving feedback because I've played Wuthering Waves, is they're giving you a survey. So I might be wrong, but basically, this is going to happen with every single gacha game, because when another one releases, or people have put so many time into the other gacha game, they're gonna lose the crap. I'm trying to think of what Asmund said. He said he fucking spitted bars when he was talking about it. I woke up not long ago, so my brain's not exactly functioning. But basically, the people that spend so much hours and put so much money into one game, they're going to lose all that progress, all the validation they get from doing that, and how much hours they put into the game. When a new one comes out, and new players start drifting off to the other game, and then they'll have to do the same for that other game that comes out as well. So they're going to spread misinformation. They're going to hate on the other games because it threatens their validation, is basically what he said. And the developers on Within Waves, they're taking surveys for people that actually are playing the game. So I don't think they're really going to focus on YouTubers talking about it that are hating on it. They're going to actually focus on the actual players playing the game. Hence why they're giving out surveys. And I filled surveys for Wuthering Waves. They have people on Discord. So I don't think Wuthering Waves is at that much of a threat when it comes to it. But it is unfortunate and it is discouraging for new players that actually want to play the game. So that's what I think. And I might have rambled on a bit there. I do have a tendency for rambling on. But that's what I think about this whole thing. So thanks for watching, and please do comment. I have posted a on my post. Let me have a look. I will show you. If you want to, this is a 10-minute fuck off you. If you want to see what I've posted, I have posted like what game should I play next, because I am looking for new games to play in, and I do want to stream. But there's the comments. I do want to stream, so I am still trying to figure out how streaming works. Because when I stream, the bitrate and everything, the quality is kind of shit. So yeah, please, if you want to look at that, please do. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.